My name is Maori Fanthorpe, and I'll be your host today. Today we have a special guest. Nichola is here from NTK Made, and we're going to be talking about her business, e-commerce in the Maori Pasifika realm, and hopefully we'll be joined later by Travis O'Keefe from Te Whare Hukahuka, and he will be able to talk about how they've gone about setting this all up. Now, this is a webinar, and we're going to follow a little bit of a journey today. It's a little bit of a slightly different journey today, but we always get great insight in these sessions. So thanks for joining us. Now, you can join us on various platforms now. We're everywhere. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and of course, you can always RSVP to our events through the website, digitalboost.co.nz. Check out the full schedule, RSVP, and then you're sent a link via Zoom. So there's a number of ways that you can kind of get your questions answered today, and you can do that by using the comment section, the Q&A section on Zoom, or like the comment section on YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. And I'll kind of hopefully be able to jump back and forth a little bit and check out some of those sections today and get your questions answered by Nichola. So Nichola, welcome. Thanks for joining us on Digital Boost. It was a delightful surprise to have you come on this morning.
Oh, Atamarie, thank you for having me.
Yeah, Atamarie, everyone. So I think the best way for us to get started is let's tell us a little bit about what your business is. So NTK Made, what kind of business are you, and why did you get started in this?
Cool. Well, thank you firstly for having me here. NTK Made Limited is my company, and underneath it sits two brands. The one Nichola, which I'm more well known for, and we make contemporary Maori inspired kakahu clothing and accessories, mainly jewelry and lamps. I also have a second brand that I'm rolling out very soon, but I won't really tell you too much about that brand yet. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's who we are, and how we started was I've been very creative all my life, and I started off making jewelry as a part-time hobby that I used to do.
So you were making jewelry, and so what? Some friends were like, you know what, you should really sell this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly how it happened, to be honest. It was accumulating in my room, and then a friend came over and said, "What are you doing with this?" And I said, I don't know. She started a Facebook group, and it started from that.
Okay, so did you ever sell at the markets, or did you only sell online?
Initially, it was just through that Facebook group, and then once I was making sales to buy more materials, then I started going to markets.
Okay. All right. And so with your Facebook group, are you saying like it was actually one of those like NZ Made kind of groups, or was this your personal page?
It was actually a personal group that she created.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, she invited her friends and family in, which were also my friends and family. And it started like that. And then we made a page.
And now with your lamps and clothing, are they all like kind of Maori and Pasifika designs as well?
Yeah. Everything we make has really rich narratives. We tell pūrākau, or like stories of old, that I incorporate into different elements into every single product that we make. And it tells a story. Some of them are based around atua, or people, like, for example, I've used Mahuika, the goddess of fire, and other stories I tell are around Matariki, the different stars and what they mean.
Ah, so beautiful. I love, obviously you can probably tell from my accent that I'm not a native Kiwi. Although, I would like to say it a Kiwi at heart, and one of the things that I love about New Zealand is the rich culture here, and just some of the, as an artist myself, the designs like that are stories in themselves are just so beautiful. I absolutely love it. It's stunning. And when I first visited here, it actually gave me goosebumps. When I go around, you can feel the real energy of the land. And so it's beautiful. beautiful to see the resurgence of Te Reo as well, I think. And also just the culture just being just pushed out even further into the world. And that's a really beautiful thing to be happening because it's such a unique culture. So what I'd like to hear now is a little bit, let's talk about some of the challenges you've had as a small business getting started. And then we're going to move into some of your successes. And then we're going to start to talk about some of the digital tools that you use. And then we'll talk about possibly some advice that you have. So that's how we're going to run this session. So if you'd like to kind of tell us, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of small businesses watching this. Like, what were some of the challenges that you had at first? All the way through.
Honestly, well, there's many challenges, as we all know, being in business, especially. The biggest one was, I suppose, myself, and they call them self-limiting beliefs. And sometimes when you have this imposter syndrome where we feel that we're not either worthy enough of being in a space, in a place where we actually are, or whether we start limiting or believing that we can't do a lot of things that we really can. So that was my first biggest challenge really, was overcoming those limiting self-beliefs. The second challenge I suppose I had was really it was more so around growth, and I'm still kind of going through this at the moment, is that I've always been a goal setter, and I can get myself to a certain position, and then I'm like, well, how do I push myself above that? And that's often a place that I can feel quite challenged at. But yeah, I work through that, and I'm lucky enough I connect myself to different networks and different people. I get advice, I seek help, I go for research. So
let's talk a little bit about that. We'll slow it down just a little bit. Slow it down just a little bit, because I think like people want to get all the good information, you know, they want all the gossip. This is some really valuable stuff here. So when you talk about getting like advice from folks, were there particular people, was this family members, or did you seek professional advice? How did that work?
To be honest, not really family members, because in as much as you can love your family members, unless they've been in business, it's very hard to get that kind of advice. So what I did is actually I went to Te Puni Kōkiri and had a look at their mentors and how I could access that kind of help. And I was able, way back when I started, which was roughly 2012, I was able to access a mentor through that. And that's how I started getting that, as I accessed a mentor. I've also, along my ways, joined different networks. So we've here, because I'm based here in Kirikiriroa, we have Te Humeka, the Maori business networks. I've also now, as I've gone along, just connected with different networks and different mentors that I've just, I suppose, come across as things have progressed. And currently use different ones, like I'm part of a kahui coalition, a kahui collective. We're Māori-based designers, and then there's another one, Whareki. There's heaps of them out there. So I just
what would you say, like, for somebody who is looking to find something like this, you know, find some of these networks, how would you go? Is it a Google search, or is this something that, you know, you contacted your local chamber of commerce? Like, how did you find these groups?
Some of it's Google, yes, for sure, definitely. You can go on there and jump on. A lot of people, though, that you know that are in business, you can actually approach them and ask them if they belong to any different groups. I know a lot of different organizations or groups actually advertise. Like I see Manaki out there advertising.
Manaki is like a great resource if you're looking for things. Absolutely. If you don't know what Manaki is, guys, it's about 250 experts that you can just call, and they will direct you to one of those people, and they will give you some advice, or they'll give you a referral. The initial call is like free, and then depending on what you're looking for, if you needed legal documents drawn up, that you might end up negotiating with someone about paying for those documents to be brought up. But it's a great resource. If you've got a quick question, just give them a call and see if they can answer it for you, because I reckon they probably will be able to. And I don't know what the exact, I know that when you call, you're not like charged. They will let you know if they need to take it further and if there are charges that would incur. But at the initial call, I know that it's free there. And I would also say there's another group, the Nesian group, that Stanley Henry from the Attention Seeker is very much involved in. That's a Polynesian and Pasifika kind of networking group, and they meet once a month, I believe. And you can find out lots of information about their group on LinkedIn, because they're specifically kind of more in that B2B kind of, well, I mean, I guess like they're business owners and they want to talk with other business owners. So the best platform for that is LinkedIn, right? More than Facebook. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like platforms like this, watching them, you can pick out different names and different people and different organizations that you could reach out to.
And I'd say another place, if you wanted to have chats with other business owners, and I haven't personally delved into this app at all, but if you're, I did have a lady who was talking to me. She has done lots of work with We Accounting, which is a Maori and Pasifika based accounting and business development firm. And they recommended using Clubhouse. And so Clubhouse is another kind of app that you can get on and connect with other business owners and stuff. I know they find it really useful. So let's talk about, so that's some of the, that's how you were, I guess, overcoming challenges by using mentors and stuff like that. But what were the challenges that you faced?
Yeah. Specifically around growth,
self-doubt, was there anything involving like finance or anything like that? Like I always hear from small businesses there's a lot of capital or maybe like not knowledge of how to get their products out there.
Yeah, capital is definitely one. Capital, what was I going to talk about there really specifically? More so, I suppose limiting beliefs was purely because I thought that you needed to go through either university, do a course about business to actually really become a business owner. And I definitely didn't do any of that. I've picked up free courses along the way, but I actually thought you needed a degree or some sort of tohu to say that you could really be into business. And I thought that I was, because I didn't have that I really had no right being in that space, but I had every right. So to overcome that, I've done different courses, backed myself, believed in myself, and if I come across a problem, I go and seek out a way to fix it and get help.
And I would say there are so many, due to COVID, there's been so many micro credentials that have been put out there. So if you're looking for free education besides Digital Boost, because that's of course what we do, but if you're look up micro credentials, like if you wanted to do something that wasn't in tech tools or something like that, you might find that there's something out there for free that some universities now offering because they just want to attract students in. They don't have as many international students now. So there's like lots of opportunities for growth actually for us here in New Zealand. And, because of the way that New Zealand's handled COVID, really, we're in an epic position to be capitalizing on things when the world opens up and online, because we're able to manufacture, we're able to do all of these things that a lot of places in lockdown that can't get supplies, that can't get, we actually have quite a lot of benefit here from the way that things have been handled. Let's move on to some of your successes. Tell us about like over the past, so 2012, so you've almost been in business 10 years. What have been some of the successes that you've experienced in the last 10 years?
To be honest, I think the first success I achieved was working in my business full-time, 100%, which was in 2016. That was very massive for me. And I know a lot of small business owners, you start off as something that you're doing on the side. So it's not your main thing, or some of you do leap into it. But for me, main thing, 2016, I took that leap of faith, backed myself, and went into the business full-time. That was a huge thing for me. I suppose another success is a lot of the commission work that we do. So even though I do roll out, I have my own business and we make products and accessories that we, want to do to tell our story. But I also do a lot of commission work, and I've done some really awesome stuff with some really awesome people. And an example of that is the Auckland War Memorial Museum. We actually we're part of the team that created their new uniforms. And so that was huge. That was a big thing last year because they reopened their new newly renovated part of the museum, and the uniforms were part of that. So yeah, there's been heaps and heaps of successes, but it's purely because I set goals and I like to achieve them.
There's so much to be said for that. I think it's really easy as small business owners to get lost in the shuffle and just have it feel a bit overwhelming. But everybody that I've talked to that's successful has said, I've just set goals and I've just chipped away at them. And something that I heard was like set 4 like yearly goals or something. I think it was, and then it was like 1 daily task, like a weekly goal. I don't know, like it was some kind of breakdown. I would have a look at one of the sessions from We Accounting on that, because they were really great here at the Q&As. If you're looking for more advice on that kind of thing, have a look at that session from We Accounting. They're fantastic. Now, so these are some of your successes: going to business full time. It took you 4 years to get there. So, that's quite a hustle, really. That's a slog. You know what I mean? Like if you're working 2 jobs, it's a lot. And what would you say, like, let's move on to some of the digital tools that you use. Obviously, you were originally going to be coming on here with Travis and we were talking about e-commerce. So I'm assuming that you have an e-commerce platform. What is your platform? Who's it with?
I'm currently, my website is with Shopify, and we also use the likes of Facebook and Instagram and their shops as well, but they all feed into our website. And then we also use Klaviyo as our email database.
Wait, we'll slow it down. Okay, so you use Shopify. What kind of integrations do you use on Shopify in order to run your business?
We have a few. When you say integrations, I'm assuming that you're talking about apps.
Yeah, so Shopify's got such a ridiculous amount of integrations, apps that link into it to make a business owner's life easier. For example, maybe you're using Xero. Like, who are you using for your accounting, I guess? Yeah. And does that link to your Shopify account?
Yes, it does. So yes, we use Xero. We even have our freight. They are linked into our Shopify as well. So our New Zealand couriers, New Zealand Post. We have quite a few apps that are linked into our Shopify to do different aspects, but I don't know where you want me to go with it.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to help drive. I'll help you drive. So, so you've got Xero for your accounting that links into your Shopify, which means that every sale, goes into your bank, sees it. So your accountant is like, loves you because you don't have a box full of receipts at the end of the year. And it also allows your accountant at any point to go into your Xero file or whatever and tell you where you're at and how you could possibly have more of a budget for marketing or have more of a budget for inventory and things like that. So that's why those things are really cool to have. Yeah. Now, do you use anything for your payments like Stripe or anything like that?
Yeah, I pretty much use anything and everything I can. We definitely use Stripe. We have PayPal. We also use Afterpay, Lay-by. Those are very big ones. We also got, I think they're Hum now. They used to be Oxy. And we also do, I think those are our main ones. Yeah.
We're going to do a session with Afterpay actually. So if anybody's interested in that, they're going to be coming onto the thing, or Paymark. I think that's who we're doing with Paymark. So yeah, I think having as many options for people to be able to pay is a really great option. And Lay-by, which, back in the 80s, when I was growing up, lay-by was a really common thing at shops. That's how we bought things. You know, we put things on lay-by and we bought them over time. And then it disappeared for quite a long time. You know, and credit cards became like the real big thing. And then we all got ourselves in terrible debt. And we decided we didn't want those anymore. And now lay-by has become this, you know, really cool fad. You know, it's come back. Lay-by is back, guys. Yeah.
It so is. It so is. Well, for us, Afterpay and lay-by are probably biggest payment gateways. Yeah.
Really? That's interesting. And I would say, do you think that that's because of your price point? Like, are your items a little bit pricey? So you find it gives people like an option to be like, I really want this and I'm going to save up for it. I'm going to pay for it over time.
Yeah, definitely. We have a really quite a big price range. But yeah, definitely, I think for our high end stuff, that's what our customers are choosing to do.
I think that's really good
multiple
option.
buys. Yeah.
And I guess that's a really good strategy because the thing is with artists, and I'm sure you agree, that, you know, people will be like, why does it cost that much? And there's all these like stories on Instagram where it's like, it costs that much because it takes me forever to make this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That might be something that I'd really like to ask you as well. How do you go about pricing your work?
That's a really good question. And to be honest, in the beginning, it wasn't very well. But over the years, we've developed I suppose it's a structure that we put all our products through, and that's where we work out our cost of goods. And that takes into account everything. And we've got this formula that we've developed. We not only is it materials and your time and energy, but it's also things like overhead, insurances, you know, all those little bits that you need to add a little piece of to actually factor into your price so that your product can cover it.
Is that an app that you use, or did you build a spreadsheet?
It was actually a spreadsheet that I was given when I went to a workshop, and this workshop was a free one that I went to as part of, I don't think they run them anymore, but Pākehī. They were doing a roadshow.
I'm going to be a bit cheeky here, but I think that's a really valuable tool. Is there any way you can give us a blank one that just has the categories at the top?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
that would be awesome, because we can upload it we can upload it as a learning summary, like a PDF file, and people could use it as a bit of a guide. That would be amazing, Nichola. But continue on. We've actually got a question. We've got a question here. It says, with payment integrations, is there a cost for each type you have? Afterpay, lay-by, Stripe, etc.?
Yes, there is. Each one has a different percentage, and you'll have to read through those, because I don't actually know them off the top of my head, but they do. Yeah, you have to pay for it.
Yeah, and that's you know, hey, if it gets you like another item in the cart, you know, you just got to weigh it out. Like, can you afford that?
And add it to your cost. Yeah, and you go through that structure. It's little bits like that you've got to really factor into your into the price of your cost of goods. And so we do that, and then it works out our because I'm GST registered, so it works out what our wholesale is, and we do our markups for wholesale and then our markups for retail, and it calculates or adds in there our GST as well.
Do you have an aspect of your site on Shopify that's just for wholesale buyers?
Not yet, no. That's something we're developing because we currently use a distributor for that stuff. So
okay.
Yeah.
Do you, because you're a business that has lots of items, you know, it's not a service-based business per se. Do you use any inventory apps like Dzyn 7 or Unleashed to keep track of your inventory?
No, not currently. We just use what's on Shopify. But in saying that, we are heading towards, I suppose, that kind of direction, purely because we're in this growth phase, and we're looking at all these different apps and integrations that we can add as we grow.
Yeah, there are, like, if you're a big business that has lots of little bits and pieces and you sell at the markets and you sell online, there's some really great apps that will let you track that, so that whether, you know, you could have your store online going and then you're at the markets as well, obviously not in lockdown, but apps like Unleashed, and I'm pretty sure Dzyn 7 will do it as well. There's some others. Those kind of apps will track, you know, all the way through. So when you make a sale, it kind of like, it'll update your online shop and stuff like that. So do look into that if that's your kind of business. There's some great integrations on Shopify for that, and other platforms, but we're just talking about Shopify here, because that's what you use, Nichola.
Yeah.
So I guess there's always a lot of background stuff. You mentioned that you're on a couple of platforms. You're on Facebook, you're on Instagram. Are you on TikTok?
I've tried it, but to be honest, I'm quite terrible at TikTok. But as a business, not really. I just not really, purely because our customer avatar isn't really there. And I think if you know where your customer is, then we spend our time where our customer is.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, that's majorities on Facebook for us, and email.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, cool. And you said that, so with let's talk about your socials. If you're doing a lot of Facebooking, are you pre-programming those posts? How do you do that with your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Pre-programming. We have the business suite, the app that everyone, so we use that, and we pre-post because we have to plan. We have a content calendar that we map out, and we map out when we're really well when we're doing really well with our planning. It's 3 months in advance, but sometimes it can be
awesome.
Sometimes it can only be a month. So but we try to we look at major themes that we want to, I suppose, structure our posts around. For example, Mahuru Māori, that's coming up, or are we in it right now? I don't know. And then Māori Language Week, there's a whole, and Matariki, we look at those kind of things, and plan our posts around those.
And then would you say, obviously you have to have a lot of visual aids. How do you, for your posts, to be able to post 3 months in advance, how many times a week do you schedule posts?
We do, currently we've slowed it down to about one every 2 days, but when we're actually up and running normally, we actually schedule 3 posts a day.
3 posts a day?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's so much content.
Yeah.
Do you have some kind of bank of images that you use for that?
Yes, we do, because I think I'm quite lucky because we do fashion shoots, we do photo shoots, we do a lot of product shoots, we do a lot of events, a lot of launches, a lot of development, behind the scenes stuff. So we can generate quite a lot of content purely because of the business that we're in. We're creative, and we make things, and we launch collections and releases quite regularly. So we're quite lucky in that regard.
How many people are on your team now?
I currently have it was 3, now 5. We've got 5 employees, and then I subcontract to probably another 5.
So what would you say, when you, back in the day, let's take you back in the day when you were getting out there and you didn't have all those employees, how did you do your socials?
Oh, it was me.
Yeah, I mean, how many posts did you do? Did you, how did you?
When you're in business and it's just you, or maybe you and a friend, or you and someone else, you have to do everything, obviously, and you do the best you can. And when I was back then, I was probably posting once or twice every 2 days, to be honest. But I would structure, when I'd go to Fashion Week, I would map out to build up and generate hype to me releasing the collection at Fashion Week. I would plan out 2 weeks in advance what I was going to do, and I would be posting every single day. So I do that. I still do that now, that kind of formula. When I have an event that I'm either going to be at or going to promote, I try and work really hard to get the content created and lead up for that event.
I love it. I mean, because we all start somewhere. We've just got a comment that says, just checked out your website, Nichola. Congrats. Presentation looks great and really easy to navigate. That's so nice.
Thank you.
What a lovely compliment. Thanks, Jelly. So Jelly, it's Jelly. I know it's Jelly because I've pronounced it wrong the same before. Yes, that's fantastic. So you've got your socials. You don't have TikTok yet, but I'm gonna just throw it out there, guys. I know I must look younger today. because I just got TikTok. And we all know that young people are on that. No, I'm just kidding. But what I wanted to say was, all jokes aside, what I wanted to say was TikTok is going to be integrating with Shopify. So yeah, so if you didn't know, TikTok is working on a big deal with Shopify, and there's going to be some integrations there. Heads up, because TikTok is going to be having shops just like Instagram and Facebook, and you're going to be able to shop on TikTok and do all of that stuff. And so if you're not on TikTok now, and I obviously am new, I would recommend investigating that if you're in e-com, because it's probably going to not go away. With the way that everything is moving. So I highly suggest, look, we're just going to have to get on there, grin it, bear it, and figure out how to use it. I'm going to be doing a session with Andrea Bozzi coming up in a month or so. Check the schedule on digitalboost.co.nz. We're going to be doing a session specifically on how to use TikTok for your business. So
awesome.
So check it out. It'll be, I'll look at that date before we leave this session. But so okay, so you're on those things. We've got that. To do a lot of posts, often we use graphic design tools. We use tools to help create these posts. Do you use any apps to help you do that? And what do you use?
Oh gosh, I use so many. I'm just gonna look at my phone. I use Feeds, I use Story, I use obviously Lightroom. We do that for our photos. I use things like Video Leap, Motion Leap. I use Splice. I use a lot.
I'm gonna try and get some of these in the chat. So we've got Video
Unfold.
Leap.
Video Leap. We do that. I use that a lot for video content. Unfold and Scene. Unfold is one, and then Scene's another. I use those for stories.
Is it SEAM or EM?
SEEN. Scene. Is that what you mean?
N. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And then Unfold.
And Unfold. Got that one. Okay.
Then I use Feeds. So that's for our Instagram, and that's for layouts. It's just one that I've newly used. Lightroom, we use that for our photo editing. We also use, what else? Oh, I've got so many here. I use Splice.
Splice?
Yeah. Splice, yeah. I use Instance.
And if you wanted one for scheduling stories, I'm going to say you can use Skedsocial. That's because you can't really schedule, like you can use Facebook Business Suite for your Instagram and Facebook posts, but you can't schedule stories through that. I don't know why they haven't done that, but you can use Skedsocial to do that. So I've just popped that in the chat. So as we're going, I'm just popping these in the chat for you guys. Usually I pop links in, but because it's just Nichola and I today, just having a bit of a chat about her business, I'm just going to leave you guys to Google those and have a look for those links. And I'll try and add them in the comments in some underneath the Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn later. That's fantastic. Because I think, do you use Canva? No?
I don't, because I use Adobe. I use Illustrator.
Okay, you're hardcore.
Yeah. We're with the Adobe suite.
Yeah. I do love Adobe Creative Suite. It's really cool. I don't know how to use almost any of the tools there, but it looks really cool. And I have a desire to learn. It's like surfing. Like I'd really like to learn how to be a surfer. I think about it a lot, but I don't actually go and do it.
Oh, I'm the same. I love it. It's great.
But if you want a simpler version than Illustrator, if that's not your jam, you can try Canva. And I would also like to recommend, because I always give them a shout out. There is a New Zealand company made down in Christchurch. Well, it was originated down in Christchurch. It's exactly like Canva. It's called Dzyn Space. It's just as free. It's got, I actually think it has a lot, it kind of has more features in some ways than Canva, as far as like, it's a mix between Canva and Illustrator as far as the capability to alter your imagery, but maybe Canva now has more links through, because they've, obviously you can schedule your posts through Canva to go straight on into your Facebook accounts and your Instagram accounts. You can do all of that. You can make presentations, logos, stickers, blah, blah, blah. So Cool. So that's those. So we've got your website. We know about inventory. We know about your accounting. We know about your imagery. You've got a team. How do you communicate with your team?
Just recently we've moved to Signal, so we use it as our way to do comms. But before that we were using the likes of Messenger, and we've also used, we've just started with Asana as our project management tool.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Asana, we're using that. We were using Trello, but we're now using Asana as well.
We tried Trello, yeah.
Yeah.
And we're very big on Google. We use Google Drive for everything. We store all our stuff there, and spreadsheets, forms, everything that's in Google, we use that as well.
Yeah, cool.
As a team.
That sounds so good. And I guess you've got to pay staff. How do you use anything to pay your staff, or how do you do that?
Oh, we do that through Xero.
Okay.
Payroll through Xero. Yeah.
I'm just, there was a question about how to find out. So how do we find out the apps that track inventory? If you go through to the integrations on the Shopify site, it'll tell you like what apps they have available. I would even recommend like just a simple Google search of like inventory apps on Shopify, and see what it comes up with. That it might be the fact it'll probably direct you back to the page. It'll probably give you a list. I do know that I'm positive they've got Dzyn 7 and Unleashed, and those are the two inventory tools that I know about. You can also use tools like GoSweetSpot, which are for more like labeling and shipping. Those are really cool integrations. So when a sale comes and it goes through, it actually will print it. It takes all the information of the person who's bought it, and it automatically puts it into a shipping label form that can be printed out. That's called GoSweetSpot. It's really, really quite cool. There's so many cool apps out there, aren't there? Too many.
Yeah, there are.
These in the chat. GoSweetSpot, and Dzyn 7 is a weird spelling. It's CIN and then the number 7. Okay. So yeah, you might want to get into those later, Nichola.
I might look at it Unleashed
if you need
it. We use Shopify, and we also use their point of sale for events. So I might look at that.
Yeah, actually, as far as events, like, do you use things like Eventbrite and things like that? And how do you go ahead and promote your events?
Yeah, Eventbrite that we use. I've forgotten. I don't know if it's no, I can't remember.
Ticket Tech or something like that.
Yeah, but it might be Eventbrite. I think we do use them. Yeah, for when we actually create events. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, this has been so insightful. I would just love to hear what advice. I think that kind of like we've gone into all your tools. We know what you're using, and we're going to kind of explore those on our own. Because this whole talk was about Maori and Pasifika in e-commerce, is there something some piece of advice that you'd like to give to that kind of area of e-com and small businesses in general, based on your experience?
I just think that there's so much richness to our cultures, and I think that's honestly what sets us apart from everyone else in the world. And it's honestly our superpower. There's no one else in the world that can tell our stories like us. There's no one else in the world that can show our products like us. And I think as small business owners, we really need to, harness that and honor that, and use it and create it in a way that we showcase ourselves to the world. Because that's a big thing of mine is I say world domination, and that's what I want to do. I want to take myself and my culture to the world, and I think it's already starting and it's already heading that way. So my advice honestly in that regard is to really just absorb and show that beauty that is us, and that is our culture. And I think a lot of us do it anyway, and intrinsically, but I think that's our superpower, to be honest.
It's so rich. Like there's just so it's full of love, full of that aroha, full of that mana, like it's just got so much. And people in the world need that, don't they? And the very distinctive imagery, like the very distinctive lines. Like I think of it because I guess like in my mind it's like they are stories, the lines, but like I love the edges and the all of that comes with that, how it's like, oh, this is the whole story of my people. Like in Aboriginal culture, like we look at dot paintings and people are like, oh, they're just dot paintings. It's like, actually no, that's a whole story. Like that's somebody's village, that was like their grandparents, here are the animals.
Just so rich.
Like, there's so much underneath those surfaces, and it absolutely share them. We love it, and the rest of the world loves it too, and if you were interested in learning about how to export and stuff like that, go ahead and check out a session on Google. We did a session with Google on exporting using Google. It was really informative. I would highly recommend you checking that out. We are going to be doing, I believe, a session with Amazon as well. So you can check that out when it comes out. I don't have that scheduled in yet, but is coming. There was a note in the chat that they couldn't see any of the things that I had plugged in there. Yup, I can see why, and that is my fault. I am slowly but surely adding them in. I was sharing them apparently only with Nichola, which she didn't need them. So I'm just kind of going back through. So I apologize if I seemed a bit distant, but I just wanted to thank you so much, because this has been a very ad-lib session, hasn't it?
It
Do you feel alive now? When you leave this session, you might be able to breathe. So we've got one more question here. It says, is there a particular supplier that you use that produces eco and sustainable packaging?
Yes. We use a few. Obviously, for our courier and freight and stuff, we use Repack. So R3.
R3.
Yeah. So we use them. We use a lot of local people. When I say local, I mean within New Zealand. I use Scent. So I use, and it's about SENT. Yep, Scent. I use them for our boxes and our packaging. They do eco options as well as normal, I think, glossy paper and stuff like that. So we use them. Who else do we use? Those are probably our main ones. We do, I suppose, different cartons and stuff for specific, I suppose, products that we make, but off the top of my head I can't remember quite who they are.
No, that's good. I've popped them in the chat. You should be able to see them now, folks. I'm so sorry. If I don't switch it to everyone, it just goes between Nichola and I. So that's fantastic. If you guys have any more questions, just pop them in the chat. What I'm going to do before we kind of finish up is because I was here more than anywhere else, I haven't had an opportunity to see if there are any questions on the other platforms. So I don't know, maybe you've got a funny story or a great story that's happened with your business, something that's really pulled your heartstrings that you'd like to share with us. I know I'm putting you on the spot. I'm pretty good at it.
I suppose that's one thing I really would, one thing I could share is also a memory of me when I started off. I remember when I was honestly working from home, I had a garage, a garage or workshop out in the garage. And when I started off, it would be my family and friends that would come over and help me out when I needed to make 100 pairs of earrings for a specific event. It would be them that I would call on and reach out to. And while I'm mentioning this is, when you're in it and on your own, don't ever feel like you are alone. Reach out to those people that you know within your networks, within your family, within your friends that can help you out. And I've done that a few times. I've done a session, not only that with my family here at home, but we went down to the marae and I did a screen printing session. And what I said, because I needed to print all these different products, and I put a post up on Facebook, hey, I really need a hand. If you want to come and give me a hand to help me screen print, what I'll do in return is print any kind of item of clothing that you bring along as a way to reciprocate them helping me out. And we did that, and not only that was I getting something in return, I mean, they were getting, some items of clothing done, but I was also teaching them and telling them teaching them how to screen print, where you could buy the products from. And some of my friends actually took that back to their marae and were printing t-shirts for their power walls, or another friend did it for a fundraiser. So, you are a business and you're small, but you got to be creative with the ways to get around different problems, and they never feel afraid to reach out to those that are close to you. And not only that, often think of ways that you can reciprocate, because you can teach them and show them one thing and then they can pass it on to more and more. And I just think it's a really awesome way of thinking kind of outside that square, when we can often get stuck in those little patches where we think, shit, sorry, not square. Oh my goodness, I've got so much on, just reach out to them. And it's a really cool memory that I have, and I still have some of those
I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to learn how to screen print. We're all sitting here going, oh, I wish I was there for the call. We've been getting lots of comments on Facebook just saying, wow, like so inspiring, lots of great insights. And they've really enjoyed this chat. And they have inquired about the tools that have been listed here. After we finish here in just a tick, I'm going to pop those all I will list them out on Facebook. You guys have them here on Zoom, and I'll do it on the other ones. Oh, we've lost her. Where did she go? Oh no. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No.
Oh no.
My phone was crossing over.
But okay, cool. Look, thanks so much for your time today, Nichola. Way to bring it home and just give us so much insight. I think when we get to actually talk to business owners sometimes and just get the full scope of their business and what tools they use, it's really nice to hear like how we can apply that to our own businesses. And just get inspired that it can happen. You can do this, right?
Absolutely. If I can do it, or anyone else can. You just got to really apply, put your passion behind it, and just apply yourself and do it and go for it. And take those steps. Be brave. Get out there. Do it.
Yeah. So we've got Namihi, lots of amazing gems of info. What email platform she uses? ActiveCampaign. Sorry, that was my bad. I'll pop that in the chat for you. That's your email platform, yeah?
Of me?
Yeah.
No, I use Klaviyo.
Oh, Klaviyo. Sorry, Klaviyo.
Yeah. I did start with Mailchimp, but I moved to Klaviyo because Shopify and Mailchimp weren't integrated. Well, they were, and then I think they came apart, and then so I went with Klaviyo.
Yeah. So there's lots of options. So I'll pop all three that I know of. There are probably more, but I'm just going to pop the three in. So I've got Klaviyo in there, Mailchimp, and then the other one you can use is ActiveCampaign. And some of them have free versions and some of them have paid versions, and depending on what you want to do and how big your business is. If you want to learn more about email marketing, we've had a bunch of epic sessions with Glenn Edley from Spike, and he's doing another session I think in a few weeks or a month, and that'll be about I don't know, but he's done sessions on like subject lines, breakdowns, content, how many posts should you do, check out those sessions. They're awesome. You can find them on all the platforms and in the in case you missed it section on the website. So that'll be us for today, guys. Great questions. Thanks everyone for contributing. I will just double check on the Facey page because people have been legend. Nichola, always inspiring, real, like very real. Appreciate the discussion and honesty from you, Nichola.
Cool.
Yeah, great tips. Planning for a big move. Go for it. Go for your big move. Awesome to see you on Digital Boost sharing your knowledge. So
Oh,
cool.
choice. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have a wonderful day. And I'm going to stay on because I need to check out the chat, but you can go and live your life, Nichola. Go and share your beauty to the world.
Thank
And for the
you.
rest of you, stay safe, get yourself some fresh air. Yeah, watch after your mental health, and just know that because you're a part of Digital Boost, you have access to an app called Clearhead. It is free. It is mental health services for free. So you can check that out as well. Have a wonderful day, Nichola. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's
Thanks,
my
guys.
pleasure, honestly. Ka kite, everyone.
All right.